Hi friends, welcome back to Perfect Study channel, and in this video we will start the series of average questions of previous year CAT question papers. So if you are a first time visitor to our channel, kindly subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to receive all the latest notifications. So let's begin. So the first question is a data sufficiency question, and I will give you the instructions here. Mark option A if 1 alone will give you the answer, option B if 2 alone will give the answer, option C if both are required to give the answer, and option D if both can't give answer. So the question goes like this: the average of 3 unequal quotations for a particular share is rupees 110. If all are quoted in integral values of rupee, does the highest quotation exceed rupees 129? So here the average of 3 quotations is equal to 110. So from average what can we get? We can calculate total. The total of 3 quotations will be 3 into 110, that is 330. Let's take the 3 quotations as suppose A, B, C, and T represents my total, which is 330. Does the highest quotation exceed rupees 129? The lowest quotation is rupees 100. So lowest quotation, let me assume A, rupees 100. Now if I want the highest value, I will assume that my B is also minimum, but B, even though it is minimum, it cannot be equal to 100 because all the 3 quotations are unequal. So if A is 100, the lowest, B at best minimum can be 101. That means your C will be equal to 330 minus 100 plus 101, that is 201. It will give you 129. This is the maximum possible value of C. Now the question is, does the highest quotation exceed 129? No, it does not exceed 129, and this is a case where students often tend to make mistake. When they get an answer no, they think that means that option is not correct, it cannot be answered. No, yes and no both are equally answers. Both are answers. Yes is also an answer, no is also an answer. So statement 1 is giving us an answer. Let's see statement number 2. One of the quotations is rupees 115. Now if one quotation is 115, any quotation, let's say if suppose A is 115, then what can I get about the other 2 quotations? What I understand is the total of the other 2 quotations will be 300 minus 115 equal to 185. Now this 185 includes both B and C. Now in this, will any quotation exceed 129? Yes, possible. It may be equal, it may be less than 129, both may be less than 129. All possibilities are there. That's why statement 2 question mark, it cannot give answer. That means my answer is option A, only 1 alone. Let's move ahead. Is the average of the largest and the smallest of 4 given numbers greater than the average of 4 numbers? The difference between the largest and the second largest numbers is greater than the difference between second smallest and smallest numbers. The instructions are same as in the previous one. Now for sake of simplicity, I am taking 4 numbers, let's say 100, 200, 300, 400, to understand the concept properly. Now here what I am assuming is that the average of my largest and the smallest is equal to the average of all 4, which will be equal to 250. 250 will be the average of all the 4, and it will also be the average of first and last, because these numbers are in AP arithmetic progression. So here this is my assumption. Now let's see number 1. The difference between the largest and the second largest is greater than the difference between second smallest and smallest, means the difference of these two is greater than the difference between these two. Okay, now here please try to understand, if this difference is greater, my largest number will shift to right side, it will be greater than 400. If the largest number will shift to right side, if this difference greater, it will shift, what will be the impact on the average of the largest and smallest and the average of all the four? Now here please understand, here I am having some extra difference. Suppose like here my difference is 100, here I take some extra difference. Whatever extra difference I take here, it will increase the average of largest and smallest more than the average of all the four. Now why? The reason is this: when I do average of largest and smallest, this extra difference will be divided only by 2. But when I do average of all four, the extra difference, it will get divided by 4. That is why it will give me answer. The average of the largest and the smallest will definitely be greater than the average of all four numbers. You can verify by taking any, you can assume any difference, you will definitely get this answer. Okay, so statement 1 is giving me the answer. Now come to statement 2. The difference between the largest and the second largest is less than the difference between the second largest and the second smallest. Let me write it again. 100, 200, 300, 400. I am taking the difference between largest and second largest, means this and this, largest and second largest, is less than the difference between second largest and second smallest. Second largest and second smallest. So it says this difference is less. So this number will shift here. It will be little less than 400. Now if this difference is less, let's assume any value. Suppose I make it 350. Now what is the impact on the average of largest, smallest, average of all four? Let me write the same logic what I wrote earlier. Okay, now here we have an issue. Even if I shift this number here, it is not necessary that this average will be greater or equal or less. Why? Because I do not know what is the difference here between what will happen here. Here I have assumed 100, 200. But what if this number is 150? If this number is 150, the average of 150 and 350 will become equal to the average of all the four, 150, 200, 300, 350. It will become equal. What if this number is more than 150? Again you will get a different answer. What if this number is less than 150? You will get a different answer. So here we cannot determine the relation between these two averages. Now why we were able to determine in the previous case? Because we knew the relation of this particular difference and this particular difference. That is why we were able to determine. Here we don't know. So second one will not give me the answer. The answer will be option number A, that is 1 alone. Let's move. Third, what is the average weight of the 3 new team members who are recently included into the team? 3 members. So I need average of 3 new members only. I don't need the average of the previous one or the entire new team. I need the average of only these 3. The average weight of the team increases by 20 kg. So that will not help me, because what I don't know is what is the number of members originally. That is what I don't know, and that makes a difference. For example, suppose I take originally 7 members, okay, and the average increases by 20 kg. So 7, and now I have 3 members. So in this case 10 members, everyone is increasing by 20 kg. My total increase is 200. And this 200, if you divide by 3, you will get a value. Suppose I take 17 originally. 17 plus 3, each member is increasing by how much? 20 kg. So 20 into 20, 400. 400 divided by 3 will give you again a different number. If you take 27 members originally, 3 members are joining, now I have 30 members, everyone is increasing by 20 kg, 600 divided by 3. So every time we will get different values. That's why the first one cannot give me the answer. Let's see the second one. The 3 new men substitute earlier members whose weights are 64, 75, 66. But this is very simple, nothing to explain. They are only substituting. So what if they are substituting? Their weight is how much more, how much less, we don't know. Just because they substitute does not mean that their weight should be equal to the people who have gone out. That is not necessary. So this will also not give me answer, and even by combining we don't get any extra information. The second statement is of no use. It just talks about some substitution and it gives the weights of the original people, by which we are not going to get anything. Question cannot be answered even by using both. Okay, so these were the 3 questions which were covered in these years. All the 3 were data sufficiency, and for the further years I will continue those questions in my next video. If you like this video, please don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell icon, share it as much as possible with your friends. Even these questions are very useful for banking exams. And give your comments and feedback in the comment section. You can also join our Facebook group. All the links are given in the description section. Thanks a lot. We will meet in the next video.